In the world of tech and innovation, few names resonate as loudly as Elon Musk. From electric cars to reusable rockets, he's often hailed as a visionary genius, the real-life Tony Stark who dares to reshape the future. Musk's Twitter feed crackles with ambition, and his companies, Tesla, SpaceX, Neural. But beyond the headlines and heroic narratives lies a more complicated story, one filled with ambition, controversy, and even personal turmoil. As Musk's empire grows, so too do the questions about his ethics, leadership style, and This exposé peels back the polished image to reveal the man behind the myth. It explores the lesser-known stories, from labor disputes at Tesla to allegations of workplace toxicity at SpaceX, from controversial tweets that moved markets to the tense relationship with his own child. Because in the world of billionaires and rocket dreams, not everything is as shiny as it. Long before he became the world's richest man, Elon Musk was a restless entrepreneur with an almost manic drive to build something big. In the mid-1990s, he dropped out of Stanford University after just 2 days to jump headfirst into the world of startups. His first company, Zip2, aimed to provide online business directories and maps, a precursor to modern-day Google Maps. Musk's work ethic was already legendary. He lived in his office, sleeping on a beanbag and showering at the local YMCA. But behind this hustle lay an impatience with authority and a burning ambition to take risks most wouldn't dare. When Zip2 was sold for nearly $300 million, Musk walked away with a fortune, and an even bigger appetite for risk. Next came X.com, an online payment company that eventually merged with Confinity to become what we now know as PayPal. Musk's insistence on pushing new ideas, like offering high-yield money market accounts through X.com, clashed with the more conservative approach of his colleagues. Tensions rose, and in 2000, while Musk was on his honeymoon, the board ousted him from his CEO role. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but Musk didn't let it slow him down. He'd already set his sights on something even bigger, building rockets and electric cars, dreams that many believed were impossible. But as the stakes grew higher, so too did the controversies that would follow. When Elon Musk joined Tesla in 2004 as chairman of the board, the company was just a small startup trying to make electric cars cool. Musk's charisma and relentless drive soon turned Tesla from a pipe dream into a global force. He took over as CEO in 2008, right when the world was plunging into a financial crisis. Yet, Tesla didn't just survive, it became a symbol of what the future could look like. Under Musk's leadership, Tesla produced electric vehicles that weren't just practical, they were fast, sexy, and high-tech. The Model S set new standards for range and performance, while the Model 3 brought EVs closer to the masses. Tesla's stock soared, and Musk became a cult figure, a billionaire rebel leading a green revolution. But behind the scenes, the story was far messier. Musk's perfectionism, the same trait that pushed Tesla to the top, created a high-pressure, sometimes punishing work environment. Reports of long hours, intense stress, and aggressive management tactics surfaced again and again. Former employees described a culture of fear, where speaking up was discouraged and Musk's mood swings shaped the day. There were also controversies around labor practices. In 2018, the National Labor Relations Board found that Tesla had violated labor laws by trying to silence unionization efforts. Workers said they were subjected to surveillance, intimidation, and even retaliation if they spoke out. Tesla denied wrongdoing, but the company's reputation took a hit. And then there were the crashes. Autopilot, Tesla's semi-autonomous driving system, became a key selling point, and a source of scrutiny. As crashes involving Tesla vehicles piled up, critics accused Musk of exaggerating the system's capabilities and downplaying safety concerns. Yet, despite the turmoil, Musk's cult of personality only seemed to grow. His tweets could send Tesla's stock soaring or crashing. Investors hung on his every word. But for the workers building the cars, the story was more complicated, and often far less glamorous. While Tesla was taking over the highways, Musk had his eyes on the stars. In 2002, he founded SpaceX with the audacious goal of making space travel affordable, and eventually colonizing Mars. To many, it sounded like science fiction. But Musk threw himself into the project with the same relentless intensity that defined his other ventures. The early days of SpaceX were rocky. The first 3 rocket launches all failed, nearly bankrupting the company. But in 2008, the 4th launch succeeded, a triumph that secured NASA contracts and put SpaceX on the map. As SpaceX grew, so did Musk's reputation as a visionary. The company's reusable rockets slashed launch costs, and the Falcon Heavy's successful test flight in 2018 was a milestone that cemented SpaceX's status as a leader in the space race. The world watched in awe as astronauts launched from American soil once again aboard a SpaceX rocket. Yet, not all was as perfect as the PR images suggested. Workers at SpaceX spoke of an intense culture that blurred the lines between dedication and overwork. Musk himself admitted to sleeping on the factory floor, and he expected his employees to show the same level of commitment. Former employees described burnout, unrealistic deadlines, and a workplace where safety sometimes took a backseat to speed. In 2021, a report by The Verge alleged that SpaceX had fostered a toxic work environment for women. Multiple former employees described harassment and a culture that brushed aside their complaints. SpaceX's high-flying image stood in sharp contrast to the reality faced by many who worked there. Musk's behavior also drew scrutiny. In a 2018 conference call, he insulted analysts who asked tough questions. He feuded publicly with critics and short sellers, calling them evil and leeches. For some, these outbursts were signs of an iconoclast unafraid to speak his mind. For others, they revealed a CEO who struggled to handle criticism. Through it all, SpaceX kept launching rockets, and Musk kept dreaming bigger. But behind the triumphs and the headlines, there was a darker side to the push for the stars. By the late 2010s, Musk had become more than just a CEO, he was a social media phenomenon. His Twitter account, once a channel for updates about Tesla and SpaceX, turned into a digital stage for everything from market-moving pronouncements to personal rants. In August 2018, Musk tweeted that he was considering taking Tesla private at $420. Funding secured. The internet exploded. Tesla's stock shot up, and Wall Street scrambled to figure out if the tweet was real. But as the dust settled, it became clear that there was no deal. The SEC charged Musk with securities fraud, arguing that his tweets misled investors. Musk and Tesla paid $40 million in fines, and Musk stepped down as Tesla's chairman. For many, this was a wake-up call. Musk's tweets weren't just off-the-cuff remarks. They could upend markets and livelihoods. And yet, even after the sex slap on the wrist, Musk didn't stop. He kept tweeting about Tesla's stock price, cryptocurrency, and memes, each post capable of sending shockwaves through the markets. Some saw his tweets as part of a deliberate strategy to manipulate stock prices. In 2020, Musk tweeted, "Tesla's stock price is too high emo," and Tesla's stock dipped by billions, only to rebound later. To his fans, he was a truth-teller unafraid to ruffle feathers. To his critics, he was playing a dangerous game, toying with the financial futures of everyday investors. The controversy only deepened when Musk set his sights on Twitter itself. In 2022, he made an offer to buy the social media platform, citing concerns about free speech and censorship. After months of chaos, lawsuits, and reversals, Musk completed the deal, and immediately set about reshaping the company and his image. Mass layoffs, erratic policy changes, and the reinstatement of controversial accounts followed. Musk's management style, impulsive, combative, and often opaque, left employees and users alike reeling. Advertisers fled. The platform's future was suddenly in question. For Musk, Twitter was another piece of the puzzle, another platform to amplify his voice. But for everyone else, it was a stark reminder of how much power one man could wield with just 280 characters. While Musk's public life was a roller coaster of deals, launches, and tweets, his private life was no less tumultuous. The intense demands of his work often clashed with his roles as a father, son, and partner. Musk has been married 3 times and has 10 children. His relationships have often played out in the media, sometimes overshadowed by his relentless work ethic. In 2022, one of Musk's children, Vivian Jenna Wilson, made headlines by filing to legally change her gender and surname, distancing herself from Musk. In her court filing, she cited wanting to cut ties with him altogether. For a man so publicly invested in the future of humanity, it was a deeply personal and painful rift. Musk's relationship with his own father, Elon Musk, has also been fraught. Musk has called his father a terrible human being and spoken publicly about the strained dynamic in their family. Elon's own controversies, including fathering a child with his stepdaughter, only added to the drama. Then there's the pressure Musk places on himself and those around him. Former partners have described a man whose obsession with his work can overshadow everything else. His first wife, Justine Musk, wrote about how she felt like a starter wife, left behind as Musk's ambitions took flight. Friends have said that Musk can be warm and loyal, but also demanding and hard to read. These personal details aren't just gossip. They reveal a man whose drive to conquer the world can sometimes leave the people closest to him feeling lost or alienated. For all his dreams of colonizing Mars and building electric empires, Musk's greatest challenge might be finding peace in his own family. Tesla has always been at the heart of Musk's image as a climate warrior, a company on a mission to save the planet from fossil fuels. The sleek, futuristic cars and the promise of a green revolution have made Tesla a darling of environmentalists and investors alike. But behind the shiny branding lies a more complicated story. Tesla's gigafactories, while impressive feats of engineering, consume vast amounts of energy and water. In drought-prone areas like Nevada and Texas, critics have raised concerns about the sustainability of Tesla's resource use. The production of lithium-ion batteries, essential to Tesla's vehicles, is another sticking point. Mining lithium is an environmentally destructive process that scars landscapes and pollutes waterways. Tesla has said it's working to make battery production greener, but for now, those sleek electric cars still have a carbon footprint. Then there's the workplace itself. Reports from Tesla's factories have painted a picture of grueling hours and dangerous conditions. In 2019, an investigation by Reveal from the Center for Investigative Reporting found that Tesla had underreported workplace injuries and discouraged workers from taking time off to recover. Former employees spoke of a relentless drive to meet production targets, no matter the human cost. Musk's response? Often, it's been to double down. In one famous 2018 tweet, he said he was a nanomanager, insisting that every detail at Tesla had to be just right, even if it meant pushing workers to their limits. So while Tesla's mission to fight climate change is real, it's also a reminder that no solution is perfect. Electric cars are a step forward, but they come with trade-offs, and it's the workers on the factory floor and the communities around them who often bear the brunt. Musk's ambitions for SpaceX have always been bigger than the Earth itself. Colonizing Mars, reusable rockets, and making humanity a multiplanetary species. It's the stuff of sci-fi dreams. And in fairness, SpaceX has delivered awe-inspiring feats. Falcon Heavy launches, the first private spacecraft to dock with the ISS, and successful commercial satellite deployments. But even in the grandeur of space, controversy follows. SpaceX has faced criticism for prioritizing spectacle and hype over sustainability and safety. When Musk's Starlink project launched thousands of satellites to provide internet globally, astronomers complained about the bright satellite trains cluttering the night sky, threatening to ruin scientific observations. Safety is another area where Musk's "move fast, break things" mantra has drawn scrutiny. In 2021, an FAA investigation was launched after SpaceX conducted a Starship test launch without proper clearance. A decision that could have endangered lives if things had gone wrong. SpaceX pushed ahead regardless, determined to meet ambitious timelines. And while Musk dreams of Mars, environmentalists are alarmed by the damage closer to home. SpaceX's rocket testing in Boca Chica, Texas, has disrupted local ecosystems, drawing lawsuits from environmental groups and complaints from nearby residents about noise and debris. In Musk's vision of the future, human civilization must reach for the stars to survive. But for those on Earth today, the costs and compromises of that dream are becoming impossible to ignore. In late 2022, Musk made headlines once again, this time for his dramatic takeover of Twitter. His $44 billion acquisition was pitched as a crusade for free speech, and a chance to fix what he called a woke mind virus, infecting the platform. But once in charge, Musk's actions seemed to contradict his own free speech rhetoric. He slashed thousands of jobs, gutting Twitter's moderation and safety teams. Under his leadership, the platform became a chaotic space where hate speech and conspiracy theories thrived, and advertisers fled. Musk restored accounts that had been banned for spreading disinformation, including conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and President Donald Trump. Meanwhile, journalists who wrote critical stories about Musk's activities found themselves locked out of their Twitter accounts, raising alarms about censorship and retaliation. Internally, the chaos was no less dramatic. Former Twitter employees described a workplace where decisions were made on a whim, and where Musk's personal whims often overrode established policy. He even slept at the Twitter offices, framing it as a sign of his commitment to the platform's future. To Musk's fans, this was the ultimate demonstration of a visionary refusing to play by the rules. But to others, it was a dangerous power grab that put one man's ego above the safety and well-being of millions of users. Elon Musk's story is one of undeniable ambition and restless drive. From PayPal to Tesla, from SpaceX to Twitter, he has transformed industries and forced the world to think bigger. His supporters see him as a genius, a once-in-a-generation innovator with the courage to tackle the impossible. Yet for every triumph, there's a darker undercurrent, a relentless, sometimes ruthless pursuit of his vision that has left scars on people and places. The environmental impact of his factories, the workplace injuries swept under the rug, the families fractured by his personal choices, and the communities left to cope with his grand experiments. Musk's story is far from over. SpaceX is still reaching for Mars. Tesla is still pushing the limits of electric cars. Neuralink and the Boring Company are still working to redefine the future. But as he continues to forge ahead, questions about the human and ethical costs of his vision loom ever larger. In the end, Musk's legacy may be as complicated as the man himself, a collision of brilliance and controversy, of progress and pain. And for those caught in the crossfire of his ambitions, the cost of chasing the stars can feel all too close to home.